Hey, and happy Saturday to you. This is Power Hour 241 or 242 that we've done. And this year we passed 5 years of doing hour segments almost every Saturday except for holidays or if I was traveling, we either did a repeat or, which is very rarely, or I did a recording. So there you go, and people are coming in. The best way to communicate is via chat. So let me give you the format of what we do. Let me first get rid of this share that's just showing you a big old black screen. Put something up there more interesting than that. The title would be good, right? Title would be good. Let's put that up there. So the format is we're going to do an hour here together, and we've got usually we have many hundreds in the room, so several hundred, maybe 500 or I don't know. Right now we have 280 something, and it usually gets somewhere around 400, let's say, depending on the topic. Next week, we're going to have a big show because it's about stick and rudder flying. And I'm going to bring out some things that just we don't teach anymore. But we make flying so complicated, I think, sometimes, like how to perfectly coordinate the airplane without, you don't have to look at anything. I can show you how to do it in your mind. You can do it. You can do it with your body. You can do it. I'm going to show you how to look outside and see certain things and know and react to those things, as opposed to calculating something and trying to do some crazy thing. So we're going to talk about how easy that can be and make a real good presentation for that. So there's that. Um, that's going to be next week. This week is going to be commercial stuff. So let's see here. All right. So, okay. So the format will be about 30 minutes past the hour. We're going to take a break. And that's a little bit of me time. I'll show you some stuff that we're working on. How about 5 minutes? It's not very long. And I'll show you some things, resources to go. I do have a link for you. Everything that we talk about is going to be in the chat. So what I want to do here, I'll just wait a little bit because more people start coming in. Uh, if you don't know the FAA, now this to those of you listening later on in life, like a year or two from now, or 6 months, or more than a year, the FAA is revamping the NOTAM system, right? They're putting a lot of effort in to modernize that. And so there is a public meeting on that coming out here June the 26th at, I believe it's 9:30 Eastern. It's an hour, it's a webinar about what they're intending to do. So I have the link for that. So if you want to register for it, you'll be able to attend that thing live, or maybe they'll be record. I'm sure there'll be a recording of it later. But still, it's that. I don't know if you'll be able to put an input in there. I don't think so, but I got that email just yesterday, so I've already registered for that event. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, and then at the end of that break, at 5 minutes later, then we'll carry on and we'll come up to the top of the hour and then we'll close out. And then what happens after that? And so that'll be for wings credit, right? If you're here for wings credit, then that's you'll have to do all that. Then there's more hours to come, but they're not required for you to attend. They're just there. All right. So we usually don't get this thing all buttoned up until 4 o'clock, which is 4 hours from now. Because in the second hour, I'll go through all the chats and go through anything that's left over, right? And then from there, we open up the mics for you to say whatever you want. So you can talk about things. Some people talk on this very topic. Other people have other topics later after we exhaust this topic. And it just goes until there's no one left to talk, right? And that can be sometimes late in the game. So that's how it's going to go. So you've got the entire Saturday, about 3 or 4 hours of that if you want it. But this is just for this, okay? Okay, so I have, let me see how many are here. I think I can get rolling here with this. I just want to, yeah, that's fine. So let's talk about this because this is coming up a lot. And what I mean by a lot is, we have this issue with DPE availability, which we've been talking about for years now. And one of the issues we have with it is we feel that we don't have enough. Yeah, that's true. For Mario, just there in the appendix, it says you can't do if the reason you couldn't make the Power F 180 was because of something other than something on the runway. It's in the appendix. The last sentence in the appendix says then it's unsatisfactory performance. That's currently in the ACS that way. Just so I might want to just happen to see that burning question. So yeah, so it is not allowed to go around unless there's something on the runway or something. It can't be just because you didn't plan it correctly. If that's the reason, it's unsatisfactory. There you go. All right, so let's move on to that, kind of related to commercial stuff, but I want to get into this because the issue with the DP availability is a serious one. And on top of the idea that maybe we don't have enough to go around, and I can give you a very clear example of that. I was a DP in the San Jose FISDO for 11 years. I did 3,000 around flight tests for the FAA, at least 200 of them initial CFIs, and 1,800 private pilots. So you go on down the list, right? Plenty of commercial pilots. And we had, are you ready? We had same number of inspectors. We had seven, six inspectors, seven inspectors, and we had 12 DPEs. Somehow we managed, right? And now there are like two, right? So, and we don't have the band, we don't have the oversight for it. Well, I don't know. You have that much more going on? I don't know, right? I don't exactly know, but I can tell you that's an issue, and we're addressing that in some other groups within the FAA that I sit on. But not soon enough. But the biggest thing we can do something about is making sure that people are eligible, because 25 to 30% of the people come sitting for a practical test are deemed not eligible, either them or the airplane. And there we burn one test right today, and we burn another test that we got to get you another one, right? So we're hogging up two test slots when one will do. Like the paper towels. Why take two when one will do, right? So it's because people aren't really focusing on this. A lot of this flight instruction gig going around is on hearsay. I call it flying on opinion. I think I'm going to go look. I don't know what I have to do exactly. Let me look at the regulation. They don't look at all the regulations. Look at just the one thing that might say commercial pilots, nowhere else, right? And then they don't get it right. Logging pilot command time, for example. And then the other thing is, I heard my instructor said I could do this or do that. There's no real facts. So I want to lay out the facts, right? These are solid facts. If you use this thing, you're going to be prepared for your practical test, or your student's going to be ready, and you'll see I've got all the stuff tied in here. This is available to you. It's going to be in the chat if it's not already, this outline. And there are links in there to buy shit. So if you, that's at the end though. We're going to do that later. Right now, we're going to have fun with this because we're going to make sure you're eligible. Okay. That's my number one goal today. So we're going to cover the hours requirements. And by the way, the hours requirements, aeronautical experience requirements for 100 hours of this, 10 hours of that are always in the FAR. That's where they exist. They're regulations. So that's the first thing. From CFI Boot Camp in Miami Beach, Florida, this is the Power Hour. Welcome.